Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the differences between the national park and wildlife sanctuaries. There too, we have also discussed about the biodiversity hotspots. Today, we'll discuss about certain terms which are flora and fauna. The flora, as the word flora, it refers to all plant life occurring in an area or over a time. It refers especially to the naturally occurring, means which are the indigenous species of the plant life form. So we may understand that flora includes all the plant life occurring in an area or over a time. It refers especially to the naturally occurring plant life. Now we'll discuss the another term which is fauna. Fauna, it refers to all the animal life of any particular region or over a time. So it refers to a typical collection of animals found in a specific place or at a specific time. So we can understand that fauna, it refers to all the animal life of any particular region over a time. So, in general, we may understand that flora, it refers to the all plant life, whereas the fauna, it refers to the all animal life of any particular region over a unit of time. In our country, it has around about 2000 species of birds, whereas 500 species of amphibians and reptiles, whereas more than 30,000 species of insects are to be found. These are the different insects. Now we'll discuss about the Red Data Book. The IUCN, which is the International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, maintains an international list of animals and plants whose continued existence is getting threatened. So this list is published in the form of red data books. So the IUCN, it maintains an international list of the plant and animal species whose continued existence is threatened, and this list is published in the form of red data books. So species, they are classified into different categories on the basis of the perceived risk to their existence. So the each red data book usually deals with a specific group of animals or plants, and these books are now being published in different countries and provide a useful source of information on the threat status of different species. Now we'll discuss about the different types of we can say the categories of threatened species. So, if we consider when there is no any member of a species exist, or it is presumed beyond reasonable doubt to have disappeared, such a species is said to be extinct. So we may say the species which have disappeared from the planet are called to be as extinct species. Whereas in the case of endangered species, means when a species which faces a very high risk of extinction in the near future is categorized as an endangered species, means they are on high risk of the extinction in the near future, they may become extinct, they are called to be as endangered species. Whereas the vulnerable species are those species which faces a high risk of extinction in the medium term, means in the near time they may be falling under the category of the endangered species, and then afterwards they would be near the risk of extinction. So we may say the vulnerable, they are those species which faces a very high risk of extinction in the medium term. So we may categorize the examples, for example, the dodo, passenger pigeon, Caribbean monk seal, they are the species which are in the category of extinct. Whereas in the case of endangered species, the examples we may put like blue whale, giant panda, snow leopard, African wild dog, and tiger, etc. Whereas in the case of vulnerable species, for example, cheetah, god lion, sloth bear, etc. Now we'll discuss about the endemic species. The word endemic, it means pertaining to any particular locality or geographical area. So the endemic species, they are the unique to a particular geographic location, such as a specified island, some habitat type, a nation, or some other well-defined zone. To be endemic to a place or area means found only in that part of the world and nowhere else. For example, the bird which has been shown in the diagram, which is orange-breasted sunbird, which is endemic to Fynbos. The Fynbos Island is situated in the South Africa country. So this implies that this particular bird, orange-breasted sunbird, is to be found only in the Fynbos vegetation type of southwestern South Africa. It is not to be found anywhere else in the world other than the locality mentioned. Just to like, we may observe one more picture of animal, which is lion-tailed macaque, which is also an endemic to the Western Ghats of southwest India. So, the extinction of these endemic species, they have many factors. There are many causes behind, out of which the most importantly, the intervention by the human beings, we human beings, and the aspect which is the pollution created by us, and many natural disasters are the reasons behind for the extinction of these endemic species. So, however, it is our action which is responsible for the current rate of extinction. So we may categorize the factors causing extinction of the endemic species into 4 categories. The first one is the loss of habitat. As do the word habitat means any living area where any living organism lives comfortably. So it occurs when an environment is altered. It is changed up to so much extent that certain life forms, they are unable to survive there. So for example, if we are practicing the practice of deforestation and made that certain types of life forms are surviving upon that particular group of plants or trees, and due to being they are removed or cut. So obviously the depending life forms would not be able to survive, and that may be a reason for their cause of, we can say, extinction. So that is the loss of habitat is a major cause which is responsible for the extinction of these endemic species. The second is over exploitation. It means when living organisms they are hunted to such an extent that their population is not able to maintain itself even it was initially abundant. For example, due to many such types of superstitions or certain types of misunderstandings, they are being hunted and they are being misused up to so much great extent that they are unable to maintain their existence upon the planet. For example, passenger pigeons, once they were numerous across the North America, were hunted for food, and now they are extinct. Just do like the third factor, which would be the introduced species, means if any new species they are introduced in that area. So colonization means that is the introduction of a new species can have a significant impact on the endemic species. This is the reason because the new species may prey on or compete for resources with the existing species. Suppose the new species which has entered that particular area and they are preying upon the endemic species which are surviving there, then in that case also the endemic species would not be able to survive and they will be not be able to maintain their existence upon the planet. The fourth point, which is ecosystem disruption. As do we have discussed the term ecosystem before. So the living organisms in an ecosystem, we know all are linked together. We know that each and every life form plays a vital role in their food chain in whichever trophic level they are present. So this link, that do we know, we are linked to each other in the form of a food chain. For example, the pollination of plants by the insects, bats and birds, or the shelter that plants provide for certain animals that may be disrupted due to by the, we can say, the pollutions and the different aspects, different practices done by ourselves. So because of these practices, we can say the reduction in the population of one species can cause and affect the population of other species. So for example, we may understand the situation, the food chain that we have mentioned here. Suppose we have mentioned here a grassland ecosystem. So the crops which are grown, they are being consumed by the grasshoppers. Further on, they are consumed by the frogs, and they are further on consumed by the snakes. And then at last, these snakes, they are consumed by the vultures. Suppose the population of the frogs, it decreases within the surroundings, then this may alter the population of other species. How? We can easily consider the situation that in this case, if the population of the frogs, they are declining day by day, so obviously there would be no predator to prey upon these grasshoppers. So the population of the grasshoppers, they will show a sudden increase in their numbers, whereas the population of the snakes and the vultures, they will also decline in the coming days. And due to increase in their population of the grasshoppers, they will start attacking upon a large, we can say, areas, or we can say different types of crops which are grown upon the fields as their food resource. So we can say each and every living organism, they plays an important role within their food chain in whichever trophic level they are present. So different types of projects and programs concerning nature and are started by the government includes Project Tiger, nature camps and jungle lodges. They have been organized to promote wildlife awareness among the people, and these projects not only help in preserving our natural heritage but also encourage ecotourism. Now we'll discuss one more aspect, which is about the dodo, an extinct bird. So dodo was a bird. It is a bird which was endemic to the island of Mauritius. So Mauritius is a country in the southwestern region of the Indian Ocean, and the extinction of the particular dodo bird had an impact on trees on the Mauritius island. Scientists, they have found out that there is a species of tree in Mauritius whose seeds have stopped germinating 300 years ago. So scientists, they have revealed the fact that a particular variety of the plant has stopped germinating 300 years ago due to the extinction of the particular dodo bird. So the reason behind, they have also revealed, in fact, dodo ate the fruit of this tree, and it was only by passing through the dodo's digestive system that the seeds became active and could grow. Luckily, some people discovered that domestic turkey could also do the same sufficiently. So the scientists, they revealed that when the fruit was eaten by the particular dodo bird, while passing through the alimentary canal, due to the action of certain enzymes, the seeds, they became active and they would be able to grow and germinate when they were passed out through their digestive system and excreted in the form of excreta. So luckily, some people revealed that domestic turkey could also do the same sufficiently. They all have used turkeys to begin a new generation of that tree, and on the name of that particular bird, the plant, now it has been renamed as dodo tree. So till so far here, thank you. Have a nice day.